Coming up on News Live at 6, over 40 million Americans have student loan debt. But one New York study shows that one group of students is disproportionately affected.
And a Rochester teen is safe and sound after being abducted by a neighbor on the street Saturday night.
There's been snow like this everywhere, but how long will it be here for? Find out in my full weather forecast. Citrus TV News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
A new report out of a New York policy organization shows students are having serious problems with their student loans. Good evening. I'm Claudia Bellofatto.
And I'm Drew Carter. One group, students at for-profit colleges, are having an especially hard time. Citrus TV reporter Jefferson Fenner is here to break down the numbers.
Student loan debt is one of the biggest stresses facing students today. A June study by financial website Make Lemonade reveals over 44 million Americans have student loan debt, totaling a combined $1.5 trillion. The same study found the average student in the class of 2016 accumulated over $37,000 of debt by the time of graduation. With about 4.7 million Americans defaulting on their loans, it's clear that student loan debt is a major financial problem. But a new study conducted by the Center for an Urban Future shows the problem disproportionately affects students attending for-profit institutions. Over 55,000 for-profit college students in New York State borrowed student loans, but 27% of them defaulted after 5 years. When comparing loan defaults from all institutions in New York, for-profit colleges have 41% of the total number of defaulted students. The report also provides a list of colleges that have a default rate of over 30%. One of those is Bryant and Stratton College's campus in Buffalo. The college has a campus in Syracuse, but that school was not included on this list.
All right, Jefferson, are there any measures that Albany can take to, provide support for the students for those for-profit schools?
Absolutely. Earlier this year, New York could only offer assistance in the form of their tuition assistance program, which can cover over $5,000 for students attending for-profit colleges, private colleges, private nonprofits as well. However, there is one program which they just gained access to that helps them. New York's Enhanced Tuition Awards program grants more funding to full-time students in households with an income of less than $110,000. Access for for-profit college students became available with this year's budget proposal, and estimates believe nearly 8,500 students are going to benefit from this.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jefferson. Here are some new details SU students need to be aware of about an attempted email attack on their SYR accounts. If you received an email this morning with the subject line, Orange Success Student Account on Hold, this is a fake email.
That's right. Do not click the link prompting you to complete your student evaluations. While SU wants all students to complete their course evaluations, the university does not put accounts on hold if you do not complete them.
The Falk School Sport Management Club is holding a fundraiser to benefit the rescue mission of Syracuse. More than 60 items are up for sale at discounted prices as part of the club's After the Auction sale. Items include autographed sports memorabilia, tickets, gift certificates, and baskets. Purchases can be made by visiting the SU website, SUCharitySportsAuction.com. The sale runs until December 12th. And Destiny USA is once again hosting a series of holiday performances as part of its Season to Celebrate. Today, the mall unveiled the lineup for its performance series, which includes different school bands and orchestras as well as professional groups. This is the third year of the event, which is held on the first level of the Canyon area in the mall. The performances start this weekend on Saturday and run until December 21st. Now, Claudia, that news kind of makes me want to go Christmas caroling soon.
Well, Drew, I'm all in for that one.
Now, if we want to have ourselves a merry little Christmas, we need some more snow here in Syracuse. Luckily, Sunny Balkin is here to tell us if it's on the way. Sunny, what do you got?
Well, Drew, I feel like I'm always giving you bad news. Sadly, right now, there is not a ton of snow, small gusts of winds, high humidity, and a very low chance of precipitation, not something that we're used to. Now, let me give you a look into tomorrow. Now, you can see 33, 33, 34, those classic low temperatures that we've come to know here in Syracuse, but there is no snow, all sunshine. Temperatures are dropping into the evening, but there will be no clouds in the sky. They're going to be dropping any of that white flurry stuff. Now, let me show you the CNY temperatures. pretty much your basic 27, 26s, 28s, all high 20s. We're getting into the low 20s tonight, but across the board, there were some flurries in the morning, not a ton of snow, and throughout the week, we might be able to see some, but I'll let you in on that in my full weather forecast. Back to you.
Thanks, Sunny. New details have emerged about a former Utica College student who made terroristic threats against the school back in March. An Oneida County jury found the ex-student guilty of 2 counts of making terroristic threats today, taking less than an hour to deliver a verdict. He made threats over the phone, which prompted a complete campus lockdown on March 5th and a heavy police presence over the next few days. The former student could face up to 7 years in prison on each charge when he is sentenced in January.
A Syracuse man is in custody following a 6-hour standoff with police. Officers responded to a call last night about Mikhail Morgan, who police say was making threats with a handgun and had struck a female in the head earlier that night. When police arrived to the apartment, Morgan refused to leave and pointed the gun at others. Up to 30 tenants were evacuated from the building while the SWAT team responded. Tear gas was released into the building, forcing Morgan and another man to leave the apartment. Morgan is currently in custody at the Onondaga County Justice Center and has been charged with second-degree assault.
A Camden woman has been arrested for allegedly stabbing her husband multiple times. According to Oneida County Police, officers responded to a domestic dispute last night when they found the 75-year-old victim in the living room with multiple stab wounds. The woman, identified as Catherine Lavandowski, has been charged with second-degree assault and is being held at the county jail. Her husband of 42 years is being treated at Upstate University Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
A missing 14-year-old female has been found safe following a desperate Amber Alert issued by the Rochester Police Department last night.
According to police, Joanna Coates was taken on Saturday night from LaSalle Street and was believed to be in grave danger. Robert Gonzalez, a convicted felon, was identified as her abductor. The commander of the Rochester Police Department said there appears to be a relationship between the two, but would not elaborate any further. Police arrested Gonzalez in Brooklyn this afternoon on an unrelated warrant and are extraditing him to Rochester, where he will face charges of kidnapping. Low-income families may have better access to renewable energy soon. State leaders say it will give 9 community solar project money through the Solar for All program. Some of the communities awarded are in the Finger Lakes region and in the Mohawk Valley. Now, 7,000 eligible households can participate in one of the local solar projects without any participation fees or upfront costs. The federal government is finally delivering $5 million in aid to Syracuse nonprofits. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development claims a logjam delayed the money that's meant to help battle poverty in the city. HUD usually distributes grants to cities by August or September, but the delay forced about 20 nonprofit groups to take out loans while waiting for the federal aid. HUD money is one of the largest sources of federal aid to the city of Syracuse. 2 local doctors must pay over $800,000 in fines today for illegal activity. Police charged 2 Fayetteville dermatology doctors for submitting thousands of false claims to state federal health insurance programs. Reports say the claims show the pair charged for services that they did not provide between 2009 and 2015. Police say they were tipped off to the illegal activity from one of the employees at the practice. 2 people are in custody after a massive drug bust outside of Binghamton. The Broome County Special Investigations Team conducted a narcotics raid at Wheeler Street in the town of Deposit on Friday. This is right up the street from Deposit Middle Senior High School. Investigators found about 1 kilogram of heroin, 1 kilogram of fentanyl, and 2 kilograms of meth, as well as nearly $24,000 in cash. Police say this amount of drugs could have led to over 500,000 fatal overdoses. And after the search, 30-year-old Joanna Degra and 36-year-old Marlon Graham were arrested on felony charges. Coming up, the National Republican Congressional Committee says it was hacked during the midterm elections. Who's involved and how they're responding after the break. And Joe Biden wants us to know that he is the best option to be the country's next president. But will he actually run in 2020? Don't change that channel.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch.
Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high-five.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back. Former President George H.W. Bush is lying in state in the U.S. Capitol for a second day today. Federal workers and foreign leaders joined the large crowds today to pay their respects to the late 41st president.
Tomorrow, Bush's funeral will be held at the National Cathedral. The U.S. Postal Service will be suspended tomorrow as well as the country observes a day of mourning.
Bush is the 12th president to lie in state at the Capitol, a tradition that started back in 1865 with President Lincoln to give the public a chance to say farewell.
Some Republicans say their party's National Congressional Committee was hacked during the 2018 midterm elections.
The NRCC spokesman Ian Pryor called it a cyber intrusion and said an unknown entity made the discovery in April. According to the report, 4 senior committee aides were surveilled for months. NRCC committee members say the FBI and a cybersecurity firm are investigating the hack.
They are unsure at this time how much information is compromised because of the attack. As of now, none of the compromised information is public.
And even though midterms just ended, former Vice President Joe Biden is saying he's the best person for the U.S. presidency. Last night, Biden said, quote, "I am the most qualified person in the country to be president."
Biden also said his decision to run for president will rest on whether he and his family are ready. His comments come as the Democrats are ramping up their plans for 2020. Senator Bernie Sanders' 2016 campaign manager also announced on Monday that if Sanders runs again, his campaign will be much bigger.
According to CNN, Biden's final decision on running will be made in about 2 months. And hundreds of people gathered at UNC Chapel Hill last night to protest a plan to bring a Confederate statue back to campus. The school's chancellor had announced earlier that the university would build a $5.3 million building to house the statue. The statue, called Silent Sam, stood on campus since 1913 before being torn down by protesters earlier this year. Speakers at last night's protest called for students to skip finals and faculty to hold back grades.
And another large-scale food recall in the U.S. More than 12 million pounds of raw beef from an Arizona company are being recalled. The U.S. Department of Food Safety and Inspection found raw beef from the Arizona company JBS Tollison may be tainted with salmonella.
An investigation found the contaminated beef was packed from late July to early September and may have led to nearly 250 people getting sick. USDA officials are concerned the beef may be sitting in consumers' freezers right now.
U.S. senators are debating whether or not to punish Saudi Arabia after the killing of the Washington Post journal Jamal Khashoggi in October. CIA Director Gina Haspel briefed a small group of lawmakers on the murder earlier today.
Senators on both sides of the aisle were angry last week after Haspel did not attend a closed-door meeting with top White House officials on the U.S. response to the killing. Many senators believe the country's response needs to be stronger.
I have zero question in my mind that the Crown Prince, MBS, ordered the killing, monitored the killing, knew exactly what was happening, planned it in advance. If he was in front of a jury, he would be convicted in 30 minutes, guilty.
And internationally, chaos continues in the streets of France. Here you can see students lined up on the streets, flipping over parked cars in Orléans, a major city about 80 miles south of Paris. Witnesses say these actions are part of a 3-week countrywide protest on increased fuel taxes.
Today, the French government is responding to the protests, saying they will postpone the tax hike for 6 months. Critics are unsure if this will be enough to stop the riots. Demonstrators continue to demand that the government provide more financial relief as large parts of the French population struggle to make ends meet.
And the battle of Brexit continues. British Prime Minister Theresa May is now trying to convince lawmakers to accept the withdrawal agreement she and the EU negotiated. Parliament began formal debates today and hopes to have a vote in the House of Commons next Tuesday.
The issue is that many politicians across the political spectrum in England oppose the plan. Critics say Brexiters do not like it because it keeps the UK closely tied to the EU, while pro-EU politicians feel it creates barriers between the UK and trading partners. March 29th is a scheduled day for the official split between the EU and the UK.
The United Nations is now seeking over $730 million to help countries cope with the large inflow of Venezuelan refugees in 2019. This is the first time the Venezuelan crisis will be included in the UN's annual humanitarian aid plan.
The crisis has caused the greatest exodus in modern history in Latin America and the Caribbean. The UN reports over 3 million Venezuelans have fled the political and economic crisis in the country since 2015. Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru are all countries that will receive funds to deal with that large number of refugees entering their country.
The Doppler radar is showing no snow, but is it too good to be true? Find out in my full weather forecast. We'll be right back.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where do cats go on vacation? New York.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
You go and step out of the vehicle for me?
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Hi guys, we're back, and as I said, the Doppler radar, barely any snow, but on my next slide, let me give you a closer look of New York right now. It is not what you would expect. There is not a ton of snow going over it, and on my next slide, you'll get an even in-depth look on what that looks like. There is going to be absolutely mist going over it, and pretty much like no snow whatsoever. So on my next slide, I'm gonna really dig down and show you an even closer look. There it is, that mist I was talking about. Nothing but mist, nothing but net, as they would say in the sports industry. Now on to my next slide. I'll show you a little bit about that cold that we're consistently keeping. You know, the snow may have been away, but that cold is here to stay. Excuse my rhyming, guys. But on to the next slide. Let me tell you about what we are to expect in December. Look at that, 42 degrees, 36, those are the highs, 29 to 23, those are the temperatures that we're gonna be looking at as December goes from early to mid to end. And on to my next slide, you know, guys, it's cold temperatures, but the holiday festivities outlook has never looked brighter. Look at that, it's high, low probability of snow on the weekends, cloudy with some sun on the weekends. And that means that it's perfect cookie baking weather. Now let me bring you to the full weather forecast. This is exactly what we wanted to see. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all all in the 30s to the 20s, back to the 30s, nothing too crazy. And I was hiding it because I wanted to surprise you guys, but Tuesday is National Cookie Day. As I was saying before, with that holiday festivity outlook, it's good temperatures, not a lot of snow. You can drive right to your friend's house with these nice temperatures, good sun, and it's just the perfect weather for those holiday cookie baking. Back to you guys.
Well, Sonny, it may be cold outside, but the action inside the dome will be heating up tonight. We'll check in with Jackson Agello for Syracuse's matchup with Northeastern, and a new team is bringing the rain to the NHL next season. Stay tuned.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
Welcome back to sports. I'm Tyler Aki. Syracuse basketball riding a 3-game win streak heading into tonight with Northeastern. And for that, let's check in with our reporter out at the Dome, Jackson Agello. Jackson, thanks so much for joining us. First, I got to say, right out of the gate, Tyus Battle has looked like a new player ever since Frank Howard has joined the lineup. What are you expecting against this type of Northeastern defense?
Well, Northeastern struggled on defense so far this year, Tyler, and Tyus burst out last game, 26 points, clearly his best game of the season, and he finally looked comfortable getting to the basket. Really efficient night from Tyus, and with Frank back, that really opens him up to do that. He doesn't have to worry about initiating the offense. He just has to worry about what he does best, score the basketball.
O'Shea Brissett's another guy that's been scoring a lot lately. Brissett, he's been a little inefficient out of the gate, but he's been more efficient lately. What do you think has led to that type of play out on the court?
Getting back to the rim and having Frank Howard back, having that offensive flow with this team has really helped O'Shea. 5 for 8 from the field last time, 19 points in that game against Cornell. And you really saw him getting to the basket and just finishing those easy bunnies by the hoop that he was struggling to do earlier on in the season. Those are the easy money ones he worked all offseason on. You're starting to see that come to fruition now for O'Shea.
All right, Jackson, thanks so much. Looking forward to the game later on. Anyway, the awards continue to come in for SU head coach Dino Babers after a mid-season 2-game losing streak. Ahead, the Orange looking shakier than orange jello. The third-year head coach ripped off a 5-1 second half en route to the first bowl game with SU. The Orange's 5-game win improvement makes them one of 3 Power 5 teams to see that type of spike in 2018. We'll see if he can follow that up next season and become 2-bowl Dino next year. Well, the legacy of Urban Meyer has certainly been complicated over the last year. Now, the Ohio State head coach announced that he will retire after the Rose Bowl this season. Meyer won 3 national championships during his coaching career, but also caught heat earlier this season after failing to report knowledge of a domestic violence case regarding former assistant coach Zach Smith. Meyer has also been battling health issues, including an arachnoid cyst in his brain that causes severe headaches. Offensive coordinator Ryan Day will take the head coaching reins in 2019. The Buckeyes take on Washington in this year's Rose Bowl. And bring on the rain hockey is on its way to Seattle. The NHL unanimously approved the Emerald City as their 32nd franchise. It will be the city's first major sports franchise since the Sonics jumped ship back in 2008. The franchise has yet to decide on a mascot and will officially join the league in 2021 while their arena is being built. The team will be owned by billionaire David Bonderman and TV producer Jerry Bruckheimer. Seattle is the league's first expansion franchise since the Golden Knights back in 2017, who went all the way to an unlikely Stanley Cup appearance.
Thanks so much, Tyler. And right after the break, we have a weather and a llamas for you. Stay with us.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning.
Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me.
Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Welcome back. We have Sunny Balkan in studio. I know some of the students are going back this weekend. Can they expect some snow? I know some people have some planes traveling, so what can we expect there?
Don't worry, Claudia. It's going to be nothing but smooth sailing from here on out. You know, if you're driving, you might be a little cold when you're packing all the stuff into your car, but nothing crazy. Just wear your mittens. That's what I'll say.
Okay, great. So how cold is it going to be throughout December? Because maybe not quite as cold as we're used to. Is that true?
That's false.
Oh,
true,
no.
Actually, it's going to be
Wishful
pretty
thinking.
cold.
Nice try.
They say that actually the coldest part of the winter is going to be the end of December going into early January. We're probably going to get some days in the teens. I don't want to say the single digits, but it's definitely a possibility.
You better not say the single digits.
Sorry, guys.
Oh,
Then I'd be mad.
gosh,
Okay,
yeah.
thanks so
I don't
much,
know
Sonny.
about
Now, you're feeling a little bit stressed on this week before finals? It is no problema for one California university. The University of California at Berkeley is using llamas to ease the pain. Officials are calling the event Llama-palooza. At the event, llamas were made available for petting, feeding, grooming, and a college favorite, selfies. Now, those feeling a little bit lonely this holiday season could even cuddle with those llamas.
Well, Drew, I know you're single. I mean, let's just put that out there. So,
rubbing that in.
would you like to cuddle with a llama?
100%. I could actually see myself taking a llama to a movie, if that's allowed. I could go to A Star Is Born with a llama. I think that'd be great.
I don't know. I think I'll take my odds on a puppy.
You'd rather go puppy?
Yeah.
I'll go really anything at this
Puppy
point.
llama.
I'm very lonely.
All right. Me, Drew, puppy llama. Okay. Well, that is all we have for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter at CitrusTV News and on Facebook, and check out our website.
I'm Claudia Bellofatto.
And I'm Drew Carter. Have a great winter break, Syracuse.